Hola a todos! Welcome to day 4 of Get Organized in 7 Days. And the topic of today is shape. Congratulations that you've made it to today. It's basically half time. And you already have quite a few tasks, I suppose, on your list now. And today we add a very important type of structure, and that is time. So we'll structure our tasks by time, and that will give us the power to also hide tasks that are not relevant right now. So back to our to-do list. So this is more or less what I had yesterday, a little bit more, I think. And you remember yesterday we added infos. And when we go to this properties screen, you see there are more tabs here. And today we look at the sections. So the sections can be any kind of structure, but I prefer to use them as a temporal structure, really. So we add a section here, and you see that you also have a calendar to add temporal information. So first of all, I usually have some category or one section for today. So we have today, and we have tomorrow, because I'm sure I'm not going to manage to achieve everything I want today. So let's add tomorrow. We might add next week. So here you have certain levels of detail. So we can add next week, which is a bit more rough because I cannot really plan what I want to do on each day of the week. So let's save that. And then it's called section. So it's not necessarily really a time. So you can say it doesn't fit the calendar or anything. I just say maybe before Christmas. That's a typical thing for me. I want to get things done like as if there were no next year. There is, but typical thing. And maybe after Christmas, which would be next year. Let's add that as well. So we have 5 sections here, which is also quite a lot. And when I think about it, next week is obviously before Christmas. So I can just add this here. And the same with today and tomorrow. So I can also put them here into Christmas. Mechanism of moving the sections around is the same, of course, as for your tasks. And when I think about it, we have today and tomorrow. We might also add this week. Maybe I'm not doing that, actually. I just leave it like that. So we have today, tomorrow, and next week. You could wrap the current week around that, so you can nest as deeply as you like. So when we have the sections here, we can of course assign them to tasks, so just as we did with the infos. And you have several options to do that. So I can just go here and use the same mechanism as for info. So I edit the properties, and now I have my sections here. I can say, okay, this is something I want to do today. It's an important task, so I do that today. And maybe here's some tasks that also kind of seem to belong together. By double-clicking actually on this symbol, you can lock everything that all the subtasks of a task, and you can also just click on this symbol to lock tasks. So now I have 5 tasks locked, and I can assign them the same property. So I go here, and I can say these are the things I want to do tomorrow. When you use this mechanism, remember to also unlock those things, because the program doesn't know if you want to do more things with those tasks. So unlock them or press escape, and then you're back to normal. So now I already have assigned a few days, and you can of course use that by just looking here into this information. But even more powerful is you can use that information to group your tasks by this information. You can, by the way, do that with infos as well. But I find the most useful grouping for me is time, and that is those sections. So now I have these boxes here, and I see, oh, today there's only this one task. Tomorrow there's something else to do. I haven't planned anything for next week. And there are quite a few left over here without a section. So you can have tasks without sections, obviously. For me, those are the ones that I'm not sure if I'm ever going to do them, but I don't want to lose them. So maybe I had some interesting idea, maybe I have notes on those tasks. It's just something I want to do maybe sooner or later, but I'm not sure when. So when you have these tasks here and you do have time left over, you can actually move them around also with drag and drop. So this is something that I might want to do with next year maybe. And this is something maybe I'm trying to do next week. And you can also use, of course, something like the before Christmas. So maybe this is something, I don't know really if I want to do it today, tomorrow or next week, but I want to do it before Christmas. So I'll just assign it the before Christmas section. So you have that here. And now when we have these boxes, the good thing is you can close them. So you can even close this. So now the only thing I see is the things I have to do today, which is only one task. Well, that's great. This is not very normal. So maybe let's do, maybe I put that into today as well. But that's the great thing here with those boxes. You can really concentrate on what's going on today. So when you work today, you can really just look at your what you have to do today, if you like. And when you get new tasks, again, you can experiment how you like to work. And you can mix, of course. So for example, when you're in this box and you get something new, you can work like on the first day, well, day 2 it was on the course, to add a new task. Just add it at the end of your list for today. And then you have your new task here. And this is obviously assigned to the same date as the rest of the box. What you could also do is, well, you can also, when you have a new task, think about when you want to do it and just add it to that box where it belongs. That's another option. Or what you could do is really use the sections not just for time, but also for another dimension. So I can add a section here and say new tasks. So something that has come up today. So this is not a date. And I can change this and maybe move it up. So now I have box for new tasks, and then I can say, okay, this is my first new task, my second new task, and so on. And when you're finished with your work at the end of the day, then, or the day's over, whichever comes first, you can look at the new tasks and then say, okay, this was new, where do I put it? And of course you can combine those techniques just as you like, try them and see what fits your style best. So we're now at the end of the day. This list looks a little bit different than what you just saw, but the phenomenon here is, in this example, I have actually at the end of the day more things on my list than I had at the start of the day, which is quite typical. It happens especially when you tackle a larger task, and that usually splits up in like 10 others. So don't worry, that's normal, it's fine. Question is just, what do we do about it? So first of all, let's get rid again of the things we already did. That doesn't bother us anymore. So a typical thing that I'm doing like during the week is to really just shift it all to tomorrow. So you can do that by just locking everything in the group and moving it on to the next day. And we switch that, and then I can just delete today and I'm done. I can go home, it's fine. As you see, of course, your list gets longer for tomorrow, and this is already a bit too much for one day. Of course, sometimes you want to have a choice, that's okay. So during the week, I'm kind of fine to heap up all those tasks. At the end of the week, it gets harder because you already have planned the next week and so on. So you will have to find places where to put them. So you can go to next week and all of that. I showed you for this morning how to do that. You can also remove the section information. So I can just put that here and just remove all the information for a section, and then it ends up in this box of tasks without section, which means kind of the backlog, things that I might never do, but I don't want to delete them. Congratulations for having come so far. You see, the problem starts to get like, where do I put my tasks? So usually we run out of time for doing everything we want. And then the question is, which of those tasks do I put into my backlog? Which of them do I delete? And which of them are the ones that I really want to do tomorrow, next week, whenever? And we'll have another structuring mechanism tomorrow to help you make this decision. So don't miss it. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta luego.